we have been pretty clear about our stance on recruiting here on DCTF Live.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, recruiting is kind of for us a side item. It's not the steak, it's the baked potato. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's a nice side item,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a side item. And it is something that we give attention to, but we don't give focus to, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And there's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of things we like about recruiting. National Signing Day, for example. There are, it's fun to see kids that we've been watching through high school continue their career at the next level. Particularly, it's fun. I particularly get a kick out of when Texas kids stay home and play in Texas.
We love it.
Yes. There's also stuff about recruiting we don't like.
Oy.
And I mentioned this on Twitter today, that we're a week out from National Signing Day, meaning we have a full week of recruits begging and pleading for attention. It's just true. That this is when recruits use this opportunity to say, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Here's my top 3. Here's my top 5. Where am I going? Ha, 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 ha. Look at me. I'm going to, on National Signing Day, I'm going to make sure that I have 3 hats in front of me, and I'm going to pick one and put it. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
The props, the bits that go on, it drives me nuts. And it's one of the things that I think, and I think the one thing that it comes back to is what we mention every time we talk about recruiting. When we look directly into the camera and we say, verbal commitments are non-binding, which means that verbal commitments, which is kind of a term created by the recruiting industry to drum up interest and to drum up news. Verbal commitments, when a kid says, oh, I'm going to go to Rice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Rice.
Right.
That means nothing. He can change his mind 2 minutes later. He can change his mind 2 weeks later.
Sure.
He can change his mind 2 months later.
Right.
As long as the only thing that matters is on National Signing Day when he picks up a pen,
Right, and
signs his name on the national letter of intent, and faxes it, which, by the way, big day for fax machines coming up. Faxes it to the school.
It's the only day of the year that we still need it.
That's the only time that matters. And that's one of the big knocks for me on recruiting is that there's really one day that matters.
Sure.
It's National Signing Day.
So, Greg, could I ask you a question?
Max, I'd love for you to ask me a question.
How could we fix recruiting in one simple step? Is there one step we could take? Because, here's the thing. 2 or 3 steps, I just don't think that's feasible.
Right.
We don't have the time for that. It's a busy society. We have shorter attention spans. I need one simple step. Have you thought of one?
Step. I have.
Oh, imagine my luck.
I think there's one easy step that's so easy that I can't believe that it's never been proposed, at least that I've seen. I'm sure somebody's come up with it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Okay.
There's no original ideas anymore, right? We've lived for thousands and thousands of years.
This might be Abraham Lincoln's idea about recruiting.
This might be. What if it was? Okay. It's very simple. It's very simple.
Okay.
You get rid of National Signing Day.
But what would we replace it with?
Nothing.
But there has to be a deadline.
Sure.
And that's what National Signing Day is.
No, National Signing Day is not a deadline.
It's not?
National Signing Day is the first day
Oh.
that you can sign a national letter of intent.
Okay.
Now, if you graduate early, you can sign and go and enroll early, but you cannot sign a national letter of intent until National Signing Day. That is the rule. You cannot do it until the first Wednesday in February, I believe is what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first Wednesday in February.
Now, just stick with me here. I'll play the layman here. But, Greg.
Yes.
Surely there's a reason there is a one day that you can start and not do it sooner. That's got to be there to protect the kids and the schools, correct?
There is.
Okay.
It's because the NCAA came up with it.
Okay.
It's their idea of how to regulate and make sure that everybody stays on a level playing field.
Are you saying it's not necessary?
I'm saying it's not necessary anymore.
Ooh.
I'm saying that National Signing Day has run its course.
Okay.
It is a antiquated idea that we stick to this one thing based pretty much on tradition alone. And we can get rid of all this nonsense of verbal commitments and really call them what they are, which is non-binding, just stuff that I say. I'm going to go buy a Ferrari today. It means
Can
just,
I come?
It means,
wait, that was a
It means just
figurative.
as much as a kid saying, I'm going to go to Texas or I'm going to go to A&M.
But are you going to buy a Ferrari today?
I'm not. So here's what you do.
But if you were.
So here's what you do. You deregulate recruiting to the point that anyone over the age of 16, their 16th birthday, can sign a national letter of intent.
All right.
You only get one, right? Once you sign it, that's where you're going.
Okay.
And all you got to do is do it before the enrollment date of your school.
Okay.
Before the date of your enrollment school, so that you can enroll.
I don't know. This sounds like a chaotic Wild West landscape you're creating.
Isn't recruiting already a chaotic Wild West landscape?
You got me there.
It's already just nuts out there.
Yeah.
So why are we putting all this emphasis on one particular day? So that if I come to you and I say, hey, Max, I really want you to come play for Tepper State. I think that you'd be a great fit here. And you say, I'm really, really interested in it.
That's not true. Tepper State is a dumb name for a school.
Prove it.
Not signing.
Prove it you're interested.
I'm not proving anything. I'm not signing that piece of paper.
What I'm saying is that if you let players, because we've heard so much about, we need an early signing period.
Right.
And I think that's a good step, but it's a temporary fix to a bigger problem. What you do is you make it so that anyone can sign a national letter of intent anytime. And that's going to bring up a couple different things. One, it's going to make schools be more careful about who they offer scholarships to.
Maybe we'll have fewer of these Michigan situations.
Yes, we'll have fewer situations where a kid says, we're gonna offer you a scholarship. No, we're not gonna offer you a scholarship. We're yanking the scholarship offer. And two, I think it's going to make recruits be more thoughtful about their decisions. I think it's going to make it if every time you talk to a coach, he's telling you, hey, you can sign up right now. You can be right now. Be a future TCU Horned Frog or a future SMU Mustang.
What is the mascot at Tepper State?
You're getting sidetracked. My point is that it will make prospects and make recruits be more thoughtful.
I think this is a good point.
So to me, if you just get rid of the largely arbitrary idea of National Signing Day, and let a kid sign a national letter of intent whenever he wants. Sure. If he wants to sign it on his 16th birthday, let him sign it on his 16th birthday.
Okay.
What's wrong with that? We've already got prospects that are getting recruited that are right now freshmen. Okay? Freshmen are getting scholarship offers. If he wants to right then make that decision and say, I'm going to, when I'm a senior, I am going to Houston, I don't see a problem with it. If that's what he wants to do. But he only gets one, and you can't back out on it, because what we need to do is it would offer more accountability on both sides, both the schools and the recruits, if you just lift the idea of National Signing Day and let kids sign whenever they want.
Interesting.
Do you agree, disagree? I'm interested in your take on this, because I thought about this morning, and I think that there's got to be – it's such a simple, easy answer that I'm sure there's something I'm just not thinking of that I'm missing.
And hopefully the kind followers of our site and show will be able to tell us what those things are. My initial reaction is it's such a shady, feels like a very harsh indictment of it, but it's a shady world, right? The recruiting game, what all goes on behind closed doors, the offers that are made. It's one of those, okay, you fixed one problem, and I wonder if they'd come up with 3 other solutions that create even more problems.
It's possible.
That's my first reaction. Like, at this point, any change you try to make, they'll just try to find ways around it to make it something even more sinister.
I think we just need overall deregulation.
Deregulation seems like a
but in this one particular this one particular sense.
Sure.
I think that this is an old, antiquated rule that you can't sign until the first Wednesday in February. Why not lift it? And if a kid is ready to sign when he is 16 years old, and he and his parents and everyone thinks that he's ready to sign, and these two teams these two parties are ready to commit to one another, make it happen.